Hi, I'm Eva Hyllestad, and I'm here to share part of my story with you today. This is something I wanted to do for a long time, but the fear factor has been big because I'm doing this in public. So I'm totally jumping out of my comfort zone here. But this morning, as of 26th of October 2017, I decided it is time to share my story with you. So here it goes. I have had some life. Looking back, it's been quite an amazing ride. I have experienced a lot of things. I was lucky growing up in the family I grew up in with my mother and father and two younger siblings. My parents were amazing. I had a good upbringing and I was active in sports. I was doing well in school and things were looking up, and I think most of the family had high hopes for me when I was very young. Then I turned to my teenage years and things started to change. Uh, Around my 14th birthday, 14th, 15th birthdays, things started to change and things didn't go so easy anymore. A lot of reasons for that. I'm not going into that now because that's not part of my story today. But at 16, I moved out. At 17, I got pregnant. At 18, I had my first child. At 19, I had my second child. And by 20, I was a single mom of two. So there I was without a job, without education, without money. But I had to provide for my children. So I decided to take an education. It took a long time. I actually started some education and stopped that, started over again. But in 1998, I had finished my school, nursing school, and I got my diploma as a qualified nurse, and I was quite happy about that. My kids were growing up with a mom running back and forth, school, job, them to kindergarten. I'm not so sure. They would say they had the good upbringing that I myself did. Anyway, that's not my story either. Over the years, I got a job and I changed from nursing to sales. I have experienced a lot of things over the years. In 2007, I moved from my country to another country. And because I wanted more sunshine, I wanted to have more blue skies, I wanted warmer weather, and I thought at the time that I did the right thing. Looking back now, I think it was the right thing to do, just at the wrong time. Because we had the recession, there were no jobs. Coming to a foreign country compared to my own country, it was different rules, it was different regulations. You didn't have the same security as back home. But I didn't want to go back home. I didn't want to live in the country I was born in. Not that I don't like my country, I absolutely love my country, but I just didn't want to go back. So I had to adjust, and I thought I did that. And from 2007 until 2014, I can now see that the choices I made, the things I did, my way of thinking, and how I dealt with problems and issues and obstacles wasn't the best way. And it actually took me in a downward spiral. It was little by little. I couldn't see it myself. Maybe others could see it, and maybe others tried to tell me, but I wasn't open-minded enough to listen. And like I said, little by little, I just went further and further down. I started to doubt myself. I started to feel unused, not worthy. I didn't feel loved. I didn't think anyone needed me. And people were talking about me, and that hurt. And I remember someone saying, what happened? You never cared about what people said about you before, so why the change. Why do you care so much? But I did. On the outside, people couldn't see the change. People still saw the smiley Eva. They still saw the happy Eva, the jokeful Eva, the social Eva, and always trying to make others feel better. But deep inside, I was bleeding, I was hurting, but I wouldn't even admit that to myself. So one October morning in 2014, I woke up absolutely hungover and my heart was pumping so bad of fear, of panic, of what did I do? I couldn't remember what was going on day before. I had some parts of memory, but I was so sure that I had done something I absolutely shouldn't have done. And I didn't want to meet people. I didn't want to even text people. I got a few text messages, but I didn't want to reply to them. And I just felt so ashamed, so lonely, and so not wanting to live anymore. For the first time in my life, I didn't want to live. I just wanted it all to end. But also, I knew I couldn't. I couldn't end my own life. So over the couple more days, I realized, okay, if something is to change, I have to change it. I didn't know what, I didn't know how. I just knew something had to become better. Or if I didn't do anything, I probably wouldn't get out of that hole at all. And as I didn't know what to do or what issues to deal with, because the issues I had, they just felt so massive. They seemed so overwhelming. I had no idea where to start or what was my biggest issue. Everything was just thrown into a pile of, and it felt like a junk pile. And I needed some time on my own to figure out where to start. And after a couple of weeks of thinking, I realized, well, not maybe just a few days really, I realized the one issue I had to deal with first. So I made a promise to myself, okay, if I can do that, then probably I can do another thing as well. And if I can do that, I can deal with a third thing. At the same time, I realized I had to reach out to people because I couldn't do it all by myself. I had to talk to someone to figure out maybe they had an idea of solution, or maybe they had some thoughts about what I could be doing. And so I did. And I was quite surprised when the first time I reached out with some really deep down issues. And it was like, yeah, but that's not an issue. We all have that. So think this, do that. Don't be too hard on yourself. And that made me more at ease. And it actually became easier to ask for more help or just share my story to get some feedback from others around me so they can mirror me. And in that way, I got a lot of great help.
So now you might be thinking that I don't have any issues or any problems or any challenges. Yes, I do. I have enough of them myself. I'm only a human being, just as you are. The difference is 3-4 years ago I didn't have the tools and the insight to deal with whatever was coming my way. Everything was just piled up in a big lump. Today, if I if I don't have the answer, if I don't know how to solve a problem, I put it aside for a while until I find the tools necessary to deal with that. So, and also I realized at one point that I only need to focus on me and my change. I can't take everyone else's problem on my shoulders. I can't make the change for them. I can't change them. That made a massive, massive difference in my life and in my inner happiness, because instead of taking the whole world on my shoulders and making their problems my problems, I only had to deal with my own problems, and suddenly that was next to nothing. Really, I really didn't have any problems as such. There's so many more people, or so many people that have bigger issues, that have bigger problems than I ever had. I just didn't see that because I thought I had to take everything on me. So don't do that. Work on yourself and let others work on themselves. You can guide, you can help, you can be supportive, but other than that, it's not up to you to live other people's life. It's only your life you have to live. Could I have done this by myself or by my own? Absolutely not. But I had to figure out what kind of help I needed, and I had to reach out for that help. And so I did. But the hard part, the hard work, I did that. And today I can say I'm very, very proud of what I did, what I've been through, and I stuck to my goal to make me myself a better life. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. If you want to know more about how I got out of this darkness, just inbox me or comment below and we will take it from there.